Hey guys, you're there? Okay, first of all, I have to say something really important. I'm not an English native speaker, so my English kinda suck. So I'm sorry if you guys don't understand something I'm saying or if I'm not being very clear, but I want to record this video talking about my favorite book, and it kind of sound shocking because the title of the video says another thing. But even though I have a lot of issues about What If It's Us, wrote by Becca Bertalli and Adam Silvera, it is still my favorite book ever. So I'm not a hater, okay? I'm not here just to talk shit about Becky or talk shit about Adam or the writing. I'm a huge fan of Becky's work. I am a fan of Adam's work too. Not a huge fan, but I am a fan. So I'm recording this video because I want to say some things that kind of bother me in this book, especially the ending, because the book is not perfect and the ending kind of sucks. Not just because of what happens, but how it happens. I'm recording this video in December 28th of 2021, so today the sequel of this book was released, named Here's to Us. But I didn't buy it yet. I live in Brazil, and in Brazil the book isn't released yet. I don't know if it's already been translated, but at least it's not been published yet. So I have to buy it from Amazon, but it's like 100 reais, so I'm just waiting. So please don't spoil me on the comments, okay? Please don't do this, because I really love the experience of reading a book, not knowing how it's gonna work, what's gonna happen, and how it's gonna end, okay? I wanna read it and being shocked by things naturally. And of course, I can record a video about the sequel, saying if I think the sequel is better or not, because I truly like this book, and it could have been just one. But okay, that's due to the fact that there will be a sequel and I didn't buy it yet, so don't spoil me. And by the way, an advice, there will be a lot of spoilers in this video. I'm not gonna filter that, okay? I'll just talk about everything of this book. So if you haven't read it yet, so you have to get away from this video, okay? Just bye-bye. I didn't record a video about this book before because I only read it in the beginning of last year, like January 2020, and the book was released in 2018, so it was like, it was already a notebook when I read this. So I'm just gonna say about things that bother me. Okay, let's just skip to the things that I don't like on this book. Okay, the only thing I actually have to say about this book that I don't quite like, it's the ending. But the fact that I hate the ending makes a lot of other things in the whole book doesn't work either. Just like, if you don't know, they don't end up together. Just remembering of what this book is about. This book is about Arthur Stews, who lives in Georgia, and he goes to New York at a summer work with her mom, and he's just like, so, and he has a lot of fantasies about New York because he's a huge Broadway fan, and he thinks life is magical, and New York, everything can happen, and he's like, oh my god, and he has a lot of fantasies, but then reality comes up, and he's like, wow, that is totally different from what I've imagined it would have been. But then he meets Ben, a cute boy in the post office, and he's like, oh, maybe this summer isn't gonna suck at all. And we kind of read them getting together, knowing each other, even though they're pretty different, because one hand we have Arthur, and he has a lot of fantasies, and he's dreamer, and we have Ben, which just broke up with his ex-boyfriend Hudson, so he hasn't fantasies at all, he's just sad, and he's just a bit sad. And then the book begins. And I want to talk about Hudson and Ben's breakup because it's really unexplained. Like, we know their relationship wasn't going to work for a long time because Hudson's parents got divorced, So he was so sad because of that. He just lost his faith in every kind of love relationship. He was just there. He wasn't giving too much attention to Ben. He wasn't being the lovely boyfriend. And they just had a fight. And Hudson thinks they just broke up. So he goes to a party and kisses another guy. And then Ben broke up with him. But it's kind of jerk because Ben never actually explained to Hudson, well, I'm breaking up with you because our relationship wasn't working and because you messed up this, and after all, you kissed another boy, so it's the end for us. No, he just didn't explain. He just made Hudson think the only reason for their breakup was because Hudson kissed another guy, which wasn't that bad at all, because Hudson thought they just broke up. So in Hudson's mind, he was single and he can kiss other boys. Like Ben is not his husband. Like Ben was so toxic because Hudson could have kissed another guy. And okay, you can be sad about it because of it, but the fact that he just broke up with him because of this is kind of jerk. But we have all that background of their relationship, but Ben just didn't tell Hudson, well, those things were annoying me. No, he just broke up with Hudson and he was really upset because Hudson was just moving on. Come on, man, you're overreacting, okay? And Ben is kind of jerk in some moments in the book. It's okay because people are flawed, but it seems like only Arthur's flaws are explored in the book, like the fact that Arthur is super sentimental and he is so dramatic and he wants to be loved and he never dated anyone, so his flaws are there, they're exposed, and he fights about it, he thinks about it, and he wants to change for Ben, but we never clearly see Ben's flaws being working in the book. Like, they're there, we can see it, but it's never discussed. For example, the fact that Ben don't want Arthur to buy his things, like he doesn't want to receive money from Arthur, but he's poor, so it's nice from Arthur that he wants to pay for the things he's consuming, but he seems so bothered by this, and I don't understand, because Arthur's just being gentle, and the fact that not only Ben is being immature, and he seems like not immature at all, but he kind of humiliates Arthur, flirting with another guy in front of Arthur on their date. Arthur never get bored by that, he just get over it super easy, but I was so bored reading that because they're there and on their date and they're fake Ansel Elgort, he pays him a drink and he's like, oh, thank you. And he never says, no, I'm sorry, I'm on a date. No, he's just smiling at him. And then Ansel goes talk to him. It's not Ansel, okay, but he goes talk to Ben. And Arthur is the one who says, oh, we're on a date. Ben doesn't say anything. He's just like enjoying that. When they're leaving the restaurant, he says bye, Ansel. Like, he clearly flirted with that guy in front of Arthur. He really humiliated his crush just because he paid for that. I mean, he didn't pay for that, but he took him to an expensive restaurant, which is okay. Like, I don't get Ben's point here, and Ben is full of flaws in the whole book. Like, the fact that in the end of the book, when Arthur wants to move to New York to be with him, and he's just like, oh, we should have forget this. Like, seriously? I would get if they weren't dating, if they were just hooking up and they were getting along, but they weren't that close. So watching a guy that you don't know wanting to move to New York because of you is kind of weird. But that wasn't the case, because their two were dating and they knew each other so much. Like, Arthur is the only one, not the only one, but he was the first person to read Ben's book. And Ben watched it, he listened to a film musical because of Arthur. And they met each other's parents. Their parents met each other. They were really bonding together. Even Arthur met Ben's friends, and Ben's friend met Arthur's friends. They were so connected to that point. So it's kind of coherent how Ben just act like they're not dating or they're not that close. And oh, you have to get away from New York. Oh, let's forget about it. That was so insensitive. Like, he's your boyfriend, and yeah, it cannot work. But you will never know if you don't try it. And honestly, I think Arthur would be way more happy living in New York because his parents, okay, they don't kind of work as a couple. They fight a lot, and I really believe they're gonna breaking up, getting divorced, and second book because yeah, couple fights, but I don't know, they just doesn't feel correct together, and Arthur seems bothered by their couple fighting. He seems bored with them fighting all of the time, and he has two best friends, but their best friends not only are dating, but they hide it from Arthur the fact that they were dating just because Arthur came out as gay. That is not a logical explanation. So, okay, our best friend came out as gay, so we cannot tell him that we're dating. We're just gonna pretend nothing is happening. Oh, great. Oh, great. It's water, okay? It's water. I'm drinking water. So the best decision is just lie to Arthur because we are dating and we don't want to ruin his moment. And his best friend, I don't remember his name, okay? It's been a long time that I read this book. I didn't talk about it, but I read this book twice, okay? And I was reading for the third time. I read it twice in Portuguese, and I was reading for the third time in English because I wanted to practice the English. But I don't remember Arthur's friends' names because they aren't that important, but he has a best friend, a male best friend, and this guy just is not talking to Arthur anymore. He's being really toxic because he's making Arthur think that it was his fault that he was acting like that. And it wasn't true. They could have just been honest. Okay, that was totally pointless. And yeah, Arthur has family and best friends in Georgia, but just because of that, he cannot move to New York. One thing has nothing to do with another. You could still be best friends with those people because they were being best friends since forever, and he would still be their parents' son. So it doesn't make sense, like the logic, oh, you cannot leave your parents and your best friends behind just because you want to be with me. And even if Ben and Arthur didn't work out, Arthur was living in New York. Like, he could watch Hamilton, he could, New York would be better for him, you know? They could have just explored it more, just like Ben don't want him to be there because he's still traumatized by what Hudson did to him, except that it wasn't a real great explanation. But okay, he's traumatized and he doesn't want his heart to break up again, but he could just explain it to Arthur. It seems like Ben feels so much, but he's not very clear on his actions. Like, he breaks up with Hudson and he doesn't explain why he's breaking up. It seems like the only reason is because Hudson made out with the other guy, and it's not a reasonable and logical explanation. It's just overreacted. And he doesn't explain to Arthur, well, I'm breaking up with you because I'm traumatized. I don't want our relationship to end up. Okay, I don't want to hurt you, but bro, Arthur is deciding to do that. You're not hurting him. Stop blaming yourself for things that aren't your responsible. And they could have fight about it. It wasn't, I'm not saying they had to have a really huge fight, but it could have just discussed about it. And Arthur would be like, why you don't want me to be here? And he was like, oh, I'm traumatized. And Arthur was like, oh, you just didn't get over Hudson yet? And he was like, yeah, I don't. And they could just fight about it. They would be upset. And then the ending would be more logical. They wouldn't end up being just best friends because they didn't work out. It wasn't be the best explanation ever, but at the same, it would be a better explanation. Listen, the fact that they don't end up together doesn't mean it's unrealistic, okay? Let's do the fact. It's realistic. Two teenager boys who were dating, they just break up. But it has to be a logic behind it, because in real life, everything has a logic behind every breakup. There's a logic behind it, okay? People don't just break up for no reason. It doesn't exist, okay? They break up for a reason. One person doesn't love another anymore. One person cheated on another. One person was faking to love the person, and then he just exit his life. Like, he don't want to be their boyfriend anymore. I don't care. There's a reason, okay? They used to fight a lot. One of them were toxic, or their relationship was being toxic and maybe hurting both of the persons on the relationship or more, I don't know. But it have to exist a reason behind it. Not just, oh, they broke up. Because if you think about it, why did Ben and Arthur broke up? Because Arthur lives in Georgia. That is the reason. Like, you could just try a long distance relationship. Why didn't they try it? They didn't try a long distance relationship. They just, okay, you're in Georgia now, I'm New York, so let's be best friends. And just this. And they have to get over it. And it's just so incoherent with the rest of the book. Like, they made each other and they have flaws and they try it and they try it, and it's kind of something is not working, but they make it work. And throughout the book, their relationship become more solid. They become more used to another. So they are basically a perfect couple, even though there are flaws, because perfect couple doesn't exist in real life. But they get along together and they are happy together. Like, they fight sometimes, but they get over it. They fight for some things, but then they get over it easy because they want to make it work. And it's beautiful. That would be a really great message in the book. Like, it's not because you and that person doesn't have a perfect love story doesn't mean you guys cannot make it work, because you can. But no, they just had to outsmart the readers. Like, they have to put that ending they just made out of nowhere. Okay, we knew Arthur was gonna get back to Georgia. Okay, but there's no reasonable explanation why they just didn't try. Oh my god, it's so hot in Brazil. It's summer here, okay? I know it's cold there in America, Europe, Canada, but here in Brazil, it's hot, okay? It's hot. There's a quote in this book that really is good, and the book could have ended after this quote. This quote says, "The universe wouldn't get us together for just one summer, right?" It's just after Arthur goes back to Georgia. That would be okay. I would be okay with that ending because, okay, Ben doesn't want Arthur to be there. That is illogical. But okay, if the book just end up here, okay, just like they don't know if they were gonna be together or not, it would be okay. That would be a good ending, okay? That would be coherent, okay? Because it seems like Ben wants to date Arthur, even though they're not together. But then they just showed us a time jump. Yeah, because time jumps are the best decisions on a book, right? They just time jump the story, and it's like 15 months, I guess. And they reveal to us, readers who are reading the book, they are not together anymore. They didn't try to make it work. They just became best friends, and that's it. And they are so over it. They seem like they are so over their relationship so fast. We, the readers, we didn't have much time to process it. We didn't have time to, oh, okay. No, it was just like that. Okay, it was a plot twist, but a bad plot twist, because plot twist doesn't always work. I really prefer a coherent story that we can guess the ending instead of a story that we don't guess the ending, but it's incoherent, like they end up being best friends. Like, what? Another thing, because it gets worse, okay? It gets worse. Saying like this, it seems like I'm a hater of the book, but no, I'm a huge fan. But it gets worse because it's revealed that Arthur wanted to. He wanted. Because it's revealed that one time in this time jump thing, Arthur wanted to travel back to New York in New Year's Eve to meet up with Ben again because they are best friends. Do you know what Ben does? Exactly nothing. He just ignores him. He doesn't seem interested on Arthur going back to New York to visit him. Like, if you're best friends now, it's logical that he wants to visit you. Like, Ben is treating Arthur like he's some strange guy that he accidentally met and he just using him for the summer and now he doesn't want it anymore. That's why I think Ben is really a jerk. Like, I like him. He seems pretty hot. But damn, he's just so toxic sometimes, and he's not clear of his actions, and I don't quite understand him, because one time he seems like he truly likes Arthur, but then he seems like he just sees him like a fun thing, like a fun boy to hook up with in the summer, and it's incoherent because it is stated that Ben truly likes him and Ben truly cares about him. So I don't get Ben's point in this story. There's another thing that it's less important, but in Becky's chapters, because Becky just wrote the Arthur's chapters in her chapters, Ben sometimes acts like a jerk, more than his usual is. Like, he does some things that aren't very well explained, just like that third thing he had with Vic and so. And in Ben's chapters, we see that he isn't that jerk, but it's not quite understandable why he acts like a jerk sometimes. He's such an incoherent character because I like him, okay, I like him, but he annoys me. And there's one other thing I'm proclaiming a lot about Ben, right? Like, it seems like I'm a hater of him. I'm not, but he annoys me. And there's another thing I don't quite understand. He really is such a dramatic guy. I get it. He's a teenager, but he just seems so upset when Arthur says to him, "Wow, you're so white. You don't even look like you're Latin." And then Ben got so upset. I mean, we get it right. It has a backstory, but really, and he overreacted, just like Arthur committed a fucking crime. But he didn't, because that's true. Actually, that is an interesting thing on America, because there are lots of people who are white, but American people doesn't treat you as white if you're not American, even though you're white. I get it, because Latin whites can be less white than American whites, but it's kind of I don't understand American logic because I'm from Brazil. If you're American, just explain me in the comments, please. I don't get it. But it's so funny because Ben just overreacted. I mean, so your suffering is because you're being seen as a white man? that's your stuff, friend? There's a really funny part in the beginning of the book. I don't remember his name, but Ben is talking to a college guy at a party, and then he's talking, he's Latin too, and they're talking, and Ben is like, oh my god, I suffer a lot because people think I'm white, and the other guy is black, and he was like, that's funny. I'm sorry, Ben is a really nice guy, I like him, but for real, stop overreacting, man. Stop. I had an idea, like, if I were the writer of What If It's Us and Here's to Us, like, what if universe, I would like write 3 books, like book 1, who you already know as What If It's Us, would end up they being apart in the end of the book because Arthur is going back to Georgia, and they're like, will we make it work or not? Summer or not summer, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. You guys get it, okay? The book should have ended without a time jump, okay? Without that time jump. And then they could do a second book with them to try again a long distance relationship. And in the second book, they could experience it and be like, okay, this doesn't work, so let's just break up in the end of the book. And maybe there could be a third book where they're now adults, and maybe Arthur is living in New York, and they're close to each other, and they're like, oh, we can make it work now, really? And if they would end up together or not, it's not the most important part, okay? It's not the most important part, because even though that would be a more coherent story, but Here's to Us apparently will take place after the time jump. In other words, there will be a second time jump. So between the first book, What If It's Us, and between the last book, because it's supposed to be a duology, so between these books there's some time that we actually don't know what happened. I mean, I really hope they explain it better in the second book, like Ben's reasons to not wanting to Arthur to move there and they could just date, or they could explain it better why Ben just gave up on Hudson so easily, or they could just explain what happened between this time jump. They could explain, oh, they didn't want it because blah 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 blah, okay? That wouldn't be perfect because I think one book has to be full, okay? It cannot depend with the sequel to make sense, okay? A book has to be full of information that if I only read one book, I would totally understand. And I don't have to read a sequel, okay? But it seems like they just did that ending so there could be a sequel. But as I said, there were better ways to do that, and not just, okay, let's destroy this relationship because they don't work out together. I read somewhere that they planned this ending really before they start writing, but it's not just the fact they planned the ending is gonna be well written, because you can plan something, and even that, the ending can suck, okay? The ending can suck. If the book was gonna end up like that, they could have just put in more flaws in Arthur and Ben's relationship. They could have put more fights and more incoherent things between them. It could have been just a more flawed relationship. Like, they seemed perfect at first sight, but then they try it and it doesn't work because blah blah blah. They could have just explained it better because it wouldn't work. And then they end up as best friends. It would be more logical, okay? We would totally buy the fact that they don't end up together, because it's not the fact that they end up together or not, because it's because it's incoherent, okay? Because they treat Arthur and Ben as a new teammate and couple and game couple, like they were soulmates. Like the universe reunited them so they could be together. It seems like all this magic background because they are magic, but it's not the case. Like, you made us readers think this couple is the best couple ever, and that we could just see ourselves in those characters and we could learn something about it because, well, if they are trying to make it work, I can learn how to make my relationships work. But no, no, it seems like a happy, perfect couple who doesn't end up together for no reason. Like, there's no logical explanation. They just gave up on their relationship and it's totally incoherent with the rest of the story, okay? And I totally get why this book isn't famous like Love, Simon, okay? I totally get. Because Love, Simon, I think this book is better than Love, Simon. But Love, Simon is more coherent. Since the beginning until the end, it's a coherent story. Even they both die at the end with is Adam's book, it's more coherent, okay? It's coherent. But this book, no. It seems like one thing, and it seems like they wanted to outsmart the readers, and they made an incoherent, weird ending. It reminds me a lot of How I Met Your Mother ending. And you guys know how I Met Your Mother ending was received by audience. That didn't work, okay? I'm really upset, okay? Because this book is my favorite book ever, but I'm not excited to read the sequel. And I think that's why I didn't buy it yet, because I'm curious. I want to know what will happen, but I'm not excited, okay? Because the book could have just ended up in the first one, and it could have been a sequel, but not like, oh, you have to read the sequel to understand the story better. Like, no, please no. Becky posted a quote on her Instagram that Hudson's talking to Ben, and it seems like he isn't over their relationship yet, making us think that maybe they can end up together. But this thing, I find it cool because at one point, reading this book, I was kind of certain that Hudson and Ben would end up together. I had this crazy theory that they would just be together again and Arthur would have to get over it. It would be a tragic love story, but it would make more sense, okay? It would be better, more coherent, like Arthur meets a guy who's cute and who's pretty, but he's not the one, so he has to get over it. And okay, he's not a weird guy. He can date a beautiful and a lovely man, okay? It's not like, oh, I will be single forever. No, you're pretty, you're cute, and you're funny, Arthur. Actually, Arthur is the best part of the book. I was certain that Hudson and Ben would end up together, and they didn't. And if in book 3 they get back together, I'll be happy about it because these two characters committed mistakes, but they worked together for some time. So there's no reasonable motive that they can't end up together. They can, okay? I will be upset because Arthur and Ben will just be a wasting of time. Yeah, but I will understand it, okay? I think I talk too much, okay? I acted like Arthur in this video, and it's the first video that I record in English. So like I said, English is not my native language. So if you think my speaking is weird, it's because of that. I really hope you guys understand what I said in this video. I'm kind of nervous too, okay? It's my first English video, okay? Don't judge me. I hope you guys liked it, and please subscribe to my channel. If you go to my channel, you will see that all of my videos are in Portuguese, but I am thinking, I'm considering and turn this YouTube channel in English because I can talk to more people. I don't know, there's just one video in English, it's a funny video. One, I just finished the book. Yeah, I just finished this book for the first time, and I was so angry and upset because of the ending, and I just recorded a video. It has like, it lasts 5 minutes, I guess. Oh, and I'm just so crying. I'm so emotional. It's a funny video. Please do not watch it, but I know you guys are gonna watch. And I really hope you guys don't see this video as a hating to what if it's us, or hating to Beck, or hating to Adam. I like these both actors. I really love this book. But I want to discuss about these things with you guys because, oh, come on, it has flaws, okay? It's not perfect, and I totally get why a lot of people don't like this book, except that I love it, but I get why a lot of people don't. And I think it's because of these little flaws, like the ending just ruined a lot of development made in the whole book. It seems like, oh, I just read this book for nothing. Like, what the hell? That's it. I'm gonna buy the sequel, so I really hope you guys don't spoil me. And I wanna see your comments too. I wanna see what are your thoughts about this, about all these videos. So,